Sometimes, life teaches you lessons in silence. Not through loud arguments. Not through obvious betrayals. But through small shifts. Through moments when your heart whispers, something doesn't feel right. And you ignore it. Because you trust someone more than you trust yourself. Before we begin, I want you to breathe. Just once. Because what you're about to hear isn't just a message. It's truth you've been avoiding. Life has a strange way of revealing people. At first, they come with smiles. With softness. With warmth. With promises. With words that feel like safety. And slowly, quietly, beautifully, you begin to trust them. At first, you trust their intentions. Then their opinions. Then their decisions. And one day, without you even noticing, you stop trusting yourself. You stop listening to your intuition. You stop questioning things that feel wrong. You stop defending your boundaries. Because somewhere along the line, you believe someone else knew what was best for you. And that is the most dangerous trap. Because when you disconnect from your own voice, you lose your power, your awareness, your identity. You become a version of yourself shaped by someone else's expectations. You start asking for permission to exist. You start doubting your emotions. You start saying sorry when you're not even wrong. You start shrinking so they feel comfortable. You start accepting disrespect disguised as love. And the saddest part? You don't even realize it's happening. Because the trap never looks like a trap in the beginning. It looks like care. It looks like protection. It looks like loyalty. It looks like love. But real love never asks you to abandon yourself. Real love builds you, not erases you. Real love guides you, not controls you. Real love supports your voice, not replaces it. Somewhere deep inside, you already know this. There were red flags, moments where something felt off, times when your soul whispered, "This isn't right." But you ignored it because the fear of losing them felt bigger than the fear of losing yourself. So you stayed. You justified. You forgave, even when the apology never came. You held on, even when everything inside you wanted to let go. Not because you were weak, but because you cared. But here's a truth that hurts. Some people aren't in your life to love you. They are there to learn you, to study you, to understand your vulnerabilities, and use them. Some people don't need a knife. They use doubt. They use guilt. They use silence. They use emotional distance. They use your heart against you. And slowly, you start believing things like, maybe I'm too emotional. Maybe I'm always overreacting. Maybe I don't deserve better. Maybe I should stay quiet. Maybe they're right. But listen carefully. You are not too much. You are not wrong. You are not unworthy. You simply trusted someone more than you trusted yourself. And now, your soul is asking you to return. Return to your intuition. Return to your boundaries. Return to your inner strength. Return to your truth. Because the moment you start trusting yourself again, everything changes. You begin to see clearly. You begin to notice patterns. You begin to hear the tone behind the words. You begin to recognize manipulation. You begin to feel the shift in energy. You begin to reclaim your power. And the people who benefited from your silence will suddenly call you cold, distant, selfish, or changed. But you didn't change. You woke up. You stopped letting someone else's version of you replace your real identity. You stopped allowing someone to control how you feel. You stopped believing that someone else's validation defines your worth. Because the moment you trust yourself, you become dangerous. Not because you hurt others, but because you can no longer be controlled. The world becomes different when you trust yourself. Your choices become clearer. Your boundaries become stronger. Your heart becomes wiser. Your soul becomes louder. You no longer chase people, You attract the right ones? You no longer beg for love. You believe you deserve it. You no longer fear losing someone. You fear losing yourself again. And someday soon, you will look back at the version of you that tolerated what broke you. And you'll whisper, "Thank you for surviving. But now, I'm choosing myself." Because the truth is, you are not hard to love. You just needed someone who didn't make you forget who you were. Maybe the lesson wasn't about trusting others. Maybe the lesson was about returning to your own voice, your intuition, your power. The most dangerous trap is not outside you. It's the moment you stop believing in yourself. So today, stop shrinking. Stop doubting. Stop waiting for someone else to confirm what you already know. Trust yourself. Because deep down, your soul already saw what your heart tried to ignore. And now, it's time to listen. And now that you're finally beginning to open your eyes, let me tell you something deeper. Something people don't talk about. Something uncomfortable, but necessary. Trust is powerful. It can build kingdoms, or destroy them. It can create peace, or start wars. It can connect souls, or break them apart. And that's exactly why the wrong people chase your trust more than your attention. Attention feeds the ego, but trust gives access to your life. Anyone can pretend. Anyone can smile. Anyone can say the right words. But very few deserve the kind of trust that lets them hold your heart, your secrets, your vulnerability. Some people don't want to know you so they can love you. They want to know you so they can calculate how to control you. They observe how you react. They memorize what hurts you. They study what you fear losing. They watch what makes you feel guilty. And they store it. Quietly, patiently. Until the moment they need it. And when that moment comes, you will mistake manipulation for love. And obedience for loyalty. You'll say things like, "They care about me. They want the best for me. They're just protective. They're worried. They don't want me to make mistakes." But deep inside, there's a silent voice whispering, "No, this doesn't feel right." And yet you silence it. Why? Because the idea of losing someone feels scarier than losing your peace. Because walking away means starting over. Because deep down, you believe you need them more than they need you. But that belief is the trap. Let me make something clear. Nobody on this earth should have more control over your decisions, your emotions, your identity, than you. The moment someone else becomes the author of your life, you stop living your story and start living theirs. And here's the twist. Sometimes the person you trust the most is the one who is slowly dimming your light. Not because they hate you, but because they fear what you might become without them. People who love you will lift you, support you, challenge you, and celebrate your growth. But people who fear losing control will confuse you, gaslight you, and make you question your worth. They don't want you strong, because strong people stop needing them. So they break you in ways that don't leave scars, only silence. They teach you to doubt yourself, so they can replace your inner voice with theirs. They don't chain your body, they chain your thoughts. But listen carefully. Chains only work on someone who forgets they're strong enough to break them. And you are stronger than you realize. You survived heartbreak. You survived disappointments. You survived loneliness. You survived being misunderstood. You survived people walking away. And even after everything, you're still here. That means something. That means there is a version of you waiting. A version that knows how to trust again, but wisely. A version that can love deeply, but without losing themselves. A version that listens to advice, but follows intuition. A version that protects their heart, but doesn't close it. And to reach that version, you must do something many fear. You must confront yourself. Not the mask you show others. Not the excuses you hide behind. Not the loyalty that became self-sacrifice, but the truth. The truth that says, I stayed even when it hurt. I trusted because I hoped. I ignored the signs because I didn't want to start over. I allowed someone to take up a space in my life they never earned. This truth isn't meant to break you. It's meant to free you. Because you can't heal what you deny. You can't grow while holding on to what shrinks you. You can't find yourself while living someone else's expectations. So breathe. And let this message sink in. You don't need permission to protect your peace. You don't need approval to rebuild your boundaries. You don't need acceptance to walk away from what drains you. You are allowed to choose yourself. Even if it confuses others. Even if it disappoints them. Even if they call you selfish. Because sometimes choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. And survival is the first step to healing. Healing is the first step to awakening. Awakening is the first step to transformation. And transformation is when the world finally sees the version of you your soul has always known. A version that doesn't beg for love, but attracts it. A version that doesn't fear loss, but trusts the process. A version that doesn't silence intuition, but honors it. So from this moment forward, don't let anyone convince you that your inner voice is wrong, because your intuition isn't random. It's wisdom your soul collected from experiences your mind has forgotten. And one day, you'll look back at the person who trusted others more than themselves, and you'll smile. Not because they were weak, but because they were learning. Learning that trust isn't about blind loyalty. It's about boundaries. It's about awareness. It's about choosing who deserves access. And now, you finally know the truth. So walk forward. Not with fear, but with awareness. Not with doubt, but with confidence. Not with self-abandonment, but with self-respect. Because the safest, strongest, and most powerful relationship you will ever have is the one you build with yourself. And now that you're beginning to rise again, slowly, quietly, powerfully, something interesting will happen. The people who once benefited from your silence will start to notice the shift. They won't say it directly. They won't admit it. But they will feel it. They'll feel the way your energy isn't accessible anymore. They'll feel the way your emotions are no longer predictable. They'll feel the way your boundaries now have a voice. They'll feel the way you no longer shrink to fit their comfort. And the same people who once told you, "Trust me, I know what's best," will suddenly say things like, "You've changed. You're acting different. You're not the same anymore." But what they really mean is, "You stopped letting me control you." And that realization scares them. Because when someone cannot manipulate you, they either have to respect you or leave you. And either way, you win. But let me warn you, healing isn't always gentle. Self-trust doesn't return like a soft breeze. Sometimes it comes like a fire, burning everything that was never real. You'll have days where you feel strong, confident, empowered, clear, and then you'll have days where doubt tries to creep back in. What if I'm wrong? What if I made a mistake walking away? What if they weren't trying to hurt me? What if they did care? But listen, healing doesn't mean forgetting. Healing means understanding. Understanding why you allowed certain behavior. Understanding why you ignored your intuition. Understanding why you remained in situations that drained you. Understanding why you trusted someone more than yourself. Because awareness is the first step. Self-respect is the second. Action is the third. And once you align all three, your life begins to shift in ways that feel almost unreal. You become more selective with your energy. You stop explaining yourself to people who already decided not to understand you. You stop chasing people who walk away from your honesty but run toward your silence. You stop prioritizing relationships that require you to lose yourself. And here's the truth. Not everyone will like the new you. Not everyone will support your growth. Not everyone will celebrate your awakening. Because some people benefited from the version of you that questioned yourself, that stayed quiet, that tolerated disrespect, that accepted less than you deserved. But your journey isn't about being liked. It's about being aligned. Aligned with your worth. Aligned with your intuition. Aligned with your purpose. Aligned with your truth. And once you choose alignment over approval, your world transforms. You'll notice peace replacing anxiety, clarity replacing confusion, confidence replacing doubt, boundaries replacing fear. You'll start saying things you once couldn't. No, I'm not okay with that. No, that doesn't feel right. No, that's not what I want. No, I won't accept less than respect. And for the first time in a long time, your voice won't shake. Because self-trust creates inner security. And inner security creates inner power. You'll start recognizing energy even before words are spoken. You'll feel when someone's intentions are pure. And when someone's presence is merely convenient. You'll know the difference between someone who truly cares and someone who only cares when you benefit them. And your intuition, the same intuition you once ignored, will become your greatest protector. There will come a day when someone tries to manipulate you. But instead of questioning yourself, you'll smile internally and think, I've seen this before, and I survived. You won't react from fear. You won't respond from insecurity. You won't fall for the trap you once did. Because experience doesn't make you bitter. It makes you wise. And wisdom leads to emotional freedom. Emotional freedom is when you no longer allow someone's behavior to affect your value. When you no longer internalize someone's rejection as a reflection of your worth. When you no longer base your decisions on the fear of losing someone. Because you finally understand. Losing someone who never valued you is not loss, it's liberation. You'll start moving differently, thinking differently, feeling differently, loving differently. You'll stop giving your heart to people who only give their excuses. You'll stop lowering your standards because you're afraid of being alone. You'll stop letting temporary people walk through permanent doors in your life. And instead of asking, will they stay? You'll ask, do they respect me? Instead of asking, do they want me? You'll ask, are they good for me? Instead of asking, how do I make them happy? You'll ask, what do I need to feel whole? This shift, this awakening, will change everything. And then one day, without forcing it, without begging, without breaking, you'll meet someone who doesn't ask you to choose between them and yourself. Someone who admires your boundaries, not fears them. Someone who values your emotions, not dismisses them. Someone who supports your voice, not silences it. Someone who respects the fact that you trust yourself first. Because the right people aren't intimidated by your strength. They are aligned with it. But whether they come or not, here's what matters most. You are no longer the person who betrays themselves to keep someone else comfortable. You are no longer the person who replaces intuition with attachment. You are no longer the person who doubts themselves because someone else said so. You are no longer the person who trusts blindly because loneliness feels heavy. You are now the person who has learned, maybe painfully, maybe slowly, maybe through heartbreak, that the foundation of every relationship begins with the relationship you have with yourself. So listen carefully. Trust your emotions. Trust your instincts. Trust your boundaries. Trust your growth. And most importantly, trust yourself more than anyone else. Because the moment you do, life will stop happening to you and start happening for you. And when that confidence settles into your soul, something beautiful happens. You stop rushing. You stop forcing connections. You stop begging for clarity. You stop chasing answers outside of yourself. Because now, you realize that everything you were searching for was already within you. The peace, the strength, the wisdom, the direction. It was always there. You just needed silence to hear it. You just needed distance to see it. You just needed time to feel it. And now, you're different. Not harder, wiser. Not cold, guarded. Not emotionless, selective. Not broken, rebuilt. People from your past may show up again, suddenly remembering your worth. Not because they changed, but because they see you changed. They see you no longer fall for sweet words. You watch actions. They see you no longer attached to potential. You pick reality. They see you no longer settle for less. You know what you deserve. And some will try again. Not to love you, but to test if access still exists. But this time, you don't flinch. You don't bend. You don't break. You simply recognize what once fooled you and choose differently. Because when you trust yourself, you don't fear losing people. You fear losing your peace. You don't fear saying no. You fear betraying yourself again. And you don't fear walking away. You fear staying somewhere your soul doesn't belong. That's the power of self-trust. It turns pain into protection, lessons into boundaries, experience into intuition. So if nobody has told you this yet, I will. You are allowed to grow beyond who people remember you as. You are allowed to change your standards. You are allowed to protect your energy. You are allowed to say, no more. Your life is not a place for repeating the same hurt. Your mind is not a home for doubt. Your heart is not a playground for the wrong people. So walk forward. Not quietly, not fearfully, but with a calm knowing. I trust myself now. And that is enough. Because the moment you trust yourself, you stop falling into traps and start walking into destiny.